Hello, good morning, evening, or afternoon, whenever you guys are watching this. We are going to do a drawing today that is a great introduction lesson to how we see space in art and the way things look to us, whether they're close up to us or far away. This is a pretty simple drawing, so we're going to do it step by step together. I'm going to use marker and my dry erase board, but I want you to use paper and a pencil. Preferably a pencil, because if you make a mistake, you're going to need to erase it. Okay. So what we're doing is we're talking about the way that things appear to us, to our eyes, when we see them in space, in art. So the closer things are to us, the darker they're going to appear. And then when you're looking at a landscape, as the further you look out, the lighter things become. So that's why these two right here are dark green, and these two right here are lighter green, because as it moves back in space, your eyes can't see as much color as it can way out there as it can right here. So the color just looks bolder right here, and it kind of fades because your eyes can't see that much color out there, okay? Also, when things are close to us, they appear larger. And when things are farther away from us, they appear smaller. So this hot air balloon is closest to us. This hot air balloon is in between the close one and the far one. And this one is the farthest away because it's the smallest, okay? I also have my clouds going back in space right here close to me. I have a large cloud. And then you'll notice near my the middle point of my drawing, my clouds are getting smaller because they're disappearing with my small balloon. Okay, so it's kind of moving back that way. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna turn your paper up and down. If you have regular notebook paper or white paper or manila paper, it doesn't matter. Okay, we are going to draw the hills first. And the way I drew the hills was I started with a curved line. This is not my good marker. I did a curved line in the corner down to kind of a little past the middle. Okay, so I did that line right there. Then I added another one right there. Then I added another one right there. So I went left, and now I'm gonna go right. Okay, so there's my hills moving back in space. They're overlapping each other. When one thing blocks our view of another thing, that's called overlapping, okay? So we got our hills overlapping. So that's one way that we can see space. Now, when things are close to us, they're gonna be wider, and when things are far away, they're going to be narrower. So when the road is close to you, it's gonna be wide, and when the road moves back in space in art, it's going to appear narrower. Now, the roads aren't actually made that way, but that's how they look to us. So the way that you can add that is you can say, okay, I know that my road needs to be narrow at the top, so I made two guiding lines for myself, knowing that that's where I was gonna end my line. Okay, so I know it's gonna be this width at the top, and I know that it's gonna be wider at the bottom, so I can make two wider lines. And now I can connect those lines, and I know it's in the right spot. Then I can erase anywhere my lines didn't connect with my pencil. That way nobody knows that I used those guiding lines, because artists don't want to tell their secret, right? You don't want people to know that you used a trick. Okay. So you don't want them to see your guiding lines, all right? Now I can move up to the next one. I know that it's going to be narrow at the top, wide at the bottom. Then I can connect. Like that. Take that extra line out. All right, so I'm gonna do that everywhere on all four hills. Two guiding lines at the top, two guiding lines at the bottom. Narrow at the top, wide at the bottom. Now I know that things are moving back in space. Okay. Now, when things are like this, when things are wide at the bottom and narrow at the top because it's farther away from us, that's something called linear perspective. And linear perspective looks like this. This is the word linear perspective. Okay, linear, we don't know that line, or we don't know that word, right? But if I take out the AR, I do know this word, line. Okay, And perspective is the way that we see things, the way that we see the world, the way that we see a problem, the way that we see a situation. So when someone says, tell me about what happened from your perspective, that means your point of view, right? So when we put this together, this means lines and the way we see them, okay? So the way that I see lines in space is they're wider at the bottom when I'm close to them. And the way that I see lines in space when they're far away is they get smaller, okay? But we know that the roads aren't actually built that way. So that's called linear perspective. Now, I'm gonna move on to start adding my details. When I add details, I need to check and make sure that I'm still using my rules of space. So I'm gonna add the lines to the road, but I know that it's wide at the bottom and it's close to me. So I'm gonna make the road's lines longer at first, and then the further I get away, the smaller my lines are gonna get. So this one's a long line, a little bit shorter, a little bit shorter, a little bit shorter, until it kind of looks like a dot. So now that road looks like it's moving back in space. I'm gonna make sure you guys can see. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna add the same thing on the other roads. Long line at the bottom where it's wide, and then I'm gonna get smaller, a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller, and a little bit smaller. Same thing down here, long. Now these back here are further away, so they're not going to be as long of lines as this, right? So my lines are gonna be a little bit shorter because I know that this road is farther away, so it's gonna be even harder to see this road. Okay, and the same thing over here. Our lines aren't gonna be as long because it's farther back in space. So I'm gonna get a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller. Okay, there we go. Now we're gonna move on to drawing the hot air balloons. I did my large hot air balloon running off the page, so it created some more movement in my paper. And then I have a medium-sized hot air balloon right here, and I have a small hot air balloon right here. The way that I can tell which one is closest to me is usually the biggest one, okay? So it's gonna be, this one is the closest one to me. I know it's the closest one to me because it is the largest, and it's going to appear large to me if I'm close to it. Okay, this one, the smallest one, is farthest away from me, and I know that because it's the smallest, okay? Now this one right here, this medium one, is in between the space of the large one and the space of the small one. Okay, so it goes closest, middle, farthest. All right, we're gonna start adding the big one first, that way we know we have enough room for it. At the top of my paper, I just put a little half circle like that. Then underneath it, I knew that if I had a basket for the big hot air balloon, then it needed to be the right size. Otherwise, if it's too big, it's going to not float, right? It's not gonna float in the air, it's gonna fall down. And I know if my basket's too small, it's not gonna hold the people, and if it is too small, then any gust of wind will just take it away and it will never return back to land. Okay, so I need to make sure my basket is the right size for my hot air balloon. I connected it with 4 lines because there are 4 sides to a box, right? So if I'm looking down at my hot air balloon, I know that it's gonna be connected here, 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 and here to the hot air balloon, right? So that's why I chose 4 lines to connect my hot air balloon. All right, now I've got a basket. Now let's move on to the medium one. Over here, a little bit lower than the large one, I'm gonna draw a medium circle, okay? Notice my medium circle is still pretty big. Oh, I just marked on that. My medium circle is still pretty big, okay? So don't make it super small. And if you want your baskets to look like they're blowing in the wind, you can actually put your basket a little bit to the side like this. Remember, your basket needs to be the right size for your circle, so smaller than this basket. Connect 1, 2, 3, 4. And now this hot air balloon looks like it's blowing that way, okay? The last one we need is our small hot air balloon. So I'm gonna draw a smaller circle right about there. And I can make my basket go to the side. Remember, this small hot air balloon basket needs to be smaller than this. So we need to check, make sure it goes small, medium, large with your rectangles, and small, medium, large with your circles. Okay, if they are not in the right size order, your drawing's not gonna look right. Now I've got all my hot air balloons in place, and I've got the roads and the hills in place. The last thing that I need to do is add these lines in the hot air balloon so that I can color them multiple colors, or even put a design if you want to put a design. What I did was I put my pencil at the bottom of the circle, and I made a curved line up as if I was drawing a moon. And then I put my pencil back where that curved line was, touching the top. And I made a curved line down. So see, this line connects to that line. Now it kind of looks like an eyeball in there. Then I make one line down the middle. And you see how all these lines right here connect? Okay, so I'll do it again. Put my pencil at the bottom or the top, either one, in the middle. Make a curved line to the top. Now I'm in the middle at the top. Now I need to put my pencil back in the middle, make a curved line down, back touching that line in the middle, and a line down the middle. So all of my lines intersect right there. Put my pencil in the middle, curved line up, pencil in the middle, curved line up, pencil in the middle, line up. Now I've got my hot air balloons. The last thing I need to add is my clouds. Now remember, when things are far away, they're small. So if you have clouds that you want kind of in this area, right in the center, that's where it's gonna be small. So add a small cloud. Honestly, I just do wavy lines. Okay, if I want a cloud that is gonna be closer to me, it's gonna need to be large. Okay, so I can put it near the large hot air balloon, right? Because I know that one's close to me. If I want a cloud overlapping, which means I have a hot air balloon overlapping my cloud, which means my hot air balloon is in front of my cloud. Then I can put my pencil on the hot air balloon and add the remainder of a cloud behind it, right? Same thing with this one. If I wanted a cloud, kind of looks like wings a little bit. I'm gonna take that one off, that looks weird. I don't like that one. Okay, so I've got a cloud there. Okay, I can even have a little cloud behind this one. A little cloud behind this one. So now I'm overlapping. Okay, if my clouds are gonna be very, very far away, they need to be really small. So I'm drawing small ones. I need a couple of medium ones and a couple of big ones because there's clouds in every area of the atmosphere. Okay, so now I've got my clouds. There we go. All right, so now you can go ahead and start coloring. If you want to do a design in any of the hot air balloons, like for example, if after you get those placed, you say, okay, I want diagonal lines in this one. I want dots in this one. I want hearts in this one. And I want more diagonals on this one. Okay, you can do that as well. If you want to make designs on your hot air balloon, you're welcome to do that. If not, just give it color in every spot. Also, I want you to color the background. So if you want to just color it a plain blue, like a normal blue sky, you can. But think about other options that you could do. So you also have the option of coloring like red, orange, and yellow as if it was a sunset. You could do cool colors. Instead of red, orange, and yellow, you could do cool colors. Like blue and purple if you want to make it kind of look like it's getting dark outside. You can color the roads if you want, and you can do anything in the background. If you want to do diagonal lines and do warm colors, or diagonal lines and do cool colors, you're welcome to do that. But find a way to make the background more interesting than I did. I just left it white paper. So see what you can do for your own artist choice in the background, okay? If you have questions, just send me an email, a Class Dojo message, or a message on Google Classroom. Have fun, and I'll see you guys soon.